Hi, this is Dr. Lennon, and we're going to be looking at the example for the activity for Module 6. So this is in data mining, and we're using the blue or red web file. And there's quite a few things we do here. The first thing they tell you is they want you to partition the data. So basically, I'm going to walk you through everything, and I'd like you to go ahead and read the section and try and understand exactly what it is we're doing when you're trying to answer the questions. But I'll show you the mechanics of doing this. So to partition the data, you just click any cell in the data area, and you go ahead and click Standard Partition, and it'll bring up a box. And you always want to check and make sure your data, workbook, and data range are all the same. But originally, none of these were here. They were all on the left. So what you want to do is you want to select all the variables it said. So you want to, in number 12, it says, use logistic regression to classify observations as undecided. So basically it's telling you undecided is the dependent variable using age, homeowner, female, married, household size, income, and education as input variables and undecided as output. So I've organized those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 input variables and the output variables under my selected variables. For partitioning options, I want to pick up the rows randomly, and then it's going to have it set to automatic percentages at first with these values, but you want to specify percentages. And I believe the default is 50, 30, 20, which is what they ask for. What that is basically telling us is what we're sampling. So the training data, this is on page 270 in the text, it tells us the data we're using to build the candidate models. The validation data is identifying which model is most accurate at predicting when applied to data that's not used to build the model. And then the test set is used to conservatively estimate the model's effectiveness when applied to data that have not been used to build or select the model. So once we do that, it's going to open up a second page for us to actually that has the partition. So this has the partition summary, and it has everything partitioned nicely with the variables that we selected. So now what we want to do is we want to click one in there and then go ahead and click predict. No, we want classify, and we're going to choose logistic regression. And this is what is going to give us our logistic regression model. And again, we want to choose the variables that we had previously. So if you hold down Control, you can select them all. Actually, I forgot. We want to uncheck the undecided because that is an output variable. So let's go ahead and clear this, and let me do it this way. Because notice we have this output variable down here, so I'm going to actually just start with that. Let's go ahead and just put undecided as the output variable. So output variable, and then the rest of them are our input variables. So variables and input data, and we want to select those. Again, if you want to select multiple, you got to hold down Control, but I keep forgetting. Okay, so there we go. We've got our selected variables, our output variable. Number of classes, 2 is fine. The lift chart 1 is good, and then we're usually using the standard default 0.5 for this initial probability for success. Okay, so we want to hit next now. And this, it doesn't look like there's much, but this is actually where we're going to, it says, the last line of setting up problem 12, perform an exhaustive search best subset selection with a number of subsets equal to 2. So the way we do that is we click advanced. Nope, we want to hit variable selection, the other one. Variable selection. And we want to perform a variable selection. And we want to do the number of best subsets. Okay, so no maximum size of best subset, we're going to pick a 7 because that's the number of our input variables. And then for the activity, it says perform an exhaustive search with the number of subsets equal to 12. So once we have that set, we can hit OK. And we're on step 3 of actually next will take us to the last step of the regression. And the summary report should be enough for our data. The lift charts are just going to give us a bunch of graphs, so you can include that if you want. But I'm just going to leave the summary reports on for now and click Finish. And it will give us the data that we need to answer the questions. Once it pops up, I'll kind of walk you through what that is talking about. Okay, so we have the regression model right here, which gives the coefficients for each of the variables. And the logistic model in general is just, it's nice because it has a carrying capacity. You might recall from a previous algebra class, but you can look at the estimated logistic regression equation on page 301. It's equation number 6.1. And in general, the logistic function is going to look like equation 6.3. So that is how we would take the coefficients and interpret that as our estimated logistic equation. Notice we're going to be using 6.1 because we have an option of an intercept there. Okay. And then down here we have the variable selections with all the subsets and the number of coefficients it's chosen in each one for all the different models. So you're going to be trying to figure out for one of the questions which one of those is the best fit and why. And then the last thing it talks about, examine the decile-wise lift chart for your model on the data. What is the first decile lift, and interpret the value. Okay, so actually I just remembered that to find the decile lift, we actually get that from one of the lift charts. So let's see if we can run the regression again through the data partition and maybe get it to pop up. So again, let's classify, run through it again. Everything should be the same. We shouldn't really have to do much. So next, let's just double check, make sure our variable selection is good. Oh, we have to select this again. So best subsets. This 2, okay. Next. Okay, so this time let's include the lift charts and then click Finish. And we should get some more tabs popping up on the bottom. And one of those is a decile lift chart. I remember from when I did it before. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pause it while it loads. Okay, back. So now you can see we have the output and we have also these lift charts. So here we go. Here's the decile lift chart. We can see the first decile lift, and this one, you know, right there. That's with the training data set. Then we also have it with the validation, and then the test lift chart. So that's how you can find that information. And it gives some values for it there. So again, all this stuff you can find in section 6.4 supervised learning. If you have any questions about how to actually go ahead and partition the data, you can find, sorry, I'm just trying to look through the book to point you in the right direction. So partitioning data, how to do that, you can find it on page 272. The page before 270 is where it talks about training, validation, and test sets. If you want to know more about the way that we took the exhaustive subset search, that comes from page 302. They have an example using the web file. and the logistic regression begins on page 299, and that is the last part of section 6.4. So good luck on the activity, and let me know if you have any questions.